Hello everyone, this is Base P86 signing in once again with another video response. Today I will be reading out my entire response instead of saying everything off the top of my head, as I've done so with many of my previous videos. This is so that I will not waste time trying to formulate correct wording or stating any redundant claims. Today's video is in response to Taylor X04's video entitled Apologist in Error, Ravi Zacharias. If people wish to see the video to which Taylor was critiquing, I will provide a link to the video in the description box for this video that I am posting up now. The video is entitled Atheism, Feminism, and the Bible. First of all, I want to apologize to Taylor right off the bat that if any of my claims and remarks come off as offensive or condescending, as those are not my intentions in making this response to you. However, upon watching this clip, I was greatly disappointed to see the amount of misunderstanding, misrepresentation, and hypocrisy that I saw you use in your counter-argument to discredit Ravi's claims. I also have found that the vast majority of your claims presented in your video either stray away from the topic of the video and talk about morality in general rather than feminism, and/or actually grant Ravi's point rather than debunk them. Nevertheless, in this video, I will analyze and reveal the logical entailments of these claims as such. Keep in mind that I will be leaving out some claims that you've stated which are redundant. This response series will consist of probably 3 or 4 parts. So whenever I am about to run out of time, I will stop recording and pick up from my last point for each video. Having said that, let us begin. You first chose to respond to Ravi's claim that if atheism is true, she, the young lady rejecting Christianity in the video, has no value. Your response is, quote, how does he get from his premise to his conclusion in this statement? Atheism is simply and only the rejection of theism. Any other propositions are relative to the individual's own philosophy. Zacharias' statement about atheism giving a person no value is actually correct, but not for the reasons he believes. Unquote. I would like to first point out, Taylor, that you forget to take into account as to why Ravi takes atheism as a belief that there is no God. He takes that definition right from actual dictionaries on philosophy themselves, which means Ravi is not trying to set up a straw man to make atheism look bad simply by its definition. I myself have witnessed this through one of his Q&A audio clips on his website, though I am sorry to say that I do not have the link to that direct clip. Ironically, if we are to grant for the sake of argument that atheism really is a rejection of theism, then Ravi's point actually still stands. By the word rejection, one must logically assume that an affirmation about theism is taking place in the conscience of the atheist. If atheism is a rejection of theism, then it logically stands to reason, and such that it claims that theism is not rational, logical, or a true belief system. This logically entails that an alternative is being asserted in theism's place by the atheist himself. Therefore, atheism would logically be a position in which theism is not true, rational, or logical. Furthermore, this would show that atheism is a belief in which there is no God, at least from the theistic standpoint. So to say that Ravi's definition for atheism is false when you assert roughly the same definition is logically self-defeating and not to mention somewhat hypocritical. Ironically, your last sentence in the above quote additionally confirms Ravi's point that atheism gives a person no value. Your next set of claims changes subject slightly, so what I shall do is combine your claims together in accordance to which subjects they refer, so as to not take them out of context. Your next claim goes as follows, quote, atheism does not contain any prescribed moral or ethical codes. These value judgments are left to the individual to decide based on whatever ethical paradigm they might choose to employ. Even if there is no God or cosmic purpose behind the universe, is it not still worth deliberating over how much to treat each other in the time we do have? We have set up societies and systems of moral authority to make life easier for all of us. There are many other ethical paradigms that operate just fine without the assumption of a deity, aka contractarianism, sorry for that, deontological ethics, ego ethics, etc. Why does he assume that the atheist view is of an amoral universe? Subjective morality is still morality, even if Dr. Zacharias does not wish to think of it as such. The simple fact that they are atheists does not mean that they can possess no moral code. But what is there that forbids those with subjective morality from defending their views or disagreeing with the moral positions of others? Unquote. The first underlying assumption you make here in this quote, Taylor, is that Ravi is arguing that no atheist can be moral or have a moral code of their own. Believe it or not, this is far from what Ravi is actually arguing. To see other Ravi Zacharias clips that confirm this, please see the video links that I will provide in the description entitled Can Man Live Without God Part 5 and Can Man Live Without God Part 6. In those clips, Ravi is given one counter-argument to his speech and a follow-up question from the same student regarding whether or not atheists are evil and if God's moral law is based on divine command theory and the Euthyphro dilemma. Ravi says repeatedly in all of his lectures that atheists are not evil. In fact, many atheists have lived completely moral lives. However, he also states that there is no logical basis with which an atheist can condemn or condone anything. What Dr. Zacharias is saying is that if there is no God, then there is no objective point of reference for morality. And if there is no objective point of reference for morality, then all other moral frameworks are rationally indefensible and fallacious. Let me give you an example. If I were to say to you, I do not want to be murdered, therefore I believe murder is wrong and I do not murder others, then what I am using is called a logical outworking or result of a specific belief to which I hold. I believe murder is wrong, therefore I do not murder. The decision to not commit murder is the logical entailment or the logical outworking to the moral judgment. They argue that there is no However, Ravi and all other apologists, for that matter, do not argue that atheists do not and cannot have a logical outworking to their moral judgments. They are arguing that there is no logical basis for which you can defend why such an action is right or wrong in the first place. This brings us back to the original statement that I do not want to be murdered, therefore I do not commit murder. What I'm actually doing is that I'm using the logical outworking of my beliefs as the logical basis for my moral judgment. In other words, I'm using the consequences of my beliefs to defend why I hold my beliefs to be so. Therefore, I am committing a form of circular reasoning called an appeal to the consequence. So while an atheist can still believe that something is right or wrong and then logically perform the action which entails that belief, he or she cannot use the subsequent action to justify their moral foundation. Prolific Canadian atheist Kai Nielsen confirms this. He says, "We have not been able to show that reason requires the moral point of view, or that really rational persons, unhoodwinked by myth or ideology, need not be individual egoists or classical amoralists. Reason does not decide here. The picture I have just painted for you is not a pleasant one. Reflection on this actually depresses me. Pure practical reason, even with a good knowledge of the facts, will not take you to morality. It will not lead you to morality." Even Bertrand Russell, the atheist philosopher and mathematician from England, said that he could not live life as if morality were based simply on a matter of personal taste. Therefore, subjective frameworks for morality are logically incoherent and fallacious. Furthermore, this shows that atheism has an amoral basis for morality, not a logical one. Now I will stop here and I will move on to part 2 of the video response series. So take care, everyone. God bless. This is Base P86 signing out.